We did it. We
You're
made
on,
it
Joshy.
We made it to a Wednesday show, everybody. We did it. We got. Listen, Murphy is here from the Battle Buddy Foundation. She's drinking some Boone's Bourbon, the official sponsor of the Good People Association. Is your Wednesday going? Just okay. Well, your Wednesday is about to get a hell of a lot better with Boone's Bourbon and the Battle Buddy Foundation on the Good People Live. Boone's Homegrown Bourbon, number 6 in the world right now, brought to you by Tyler Boone himself, drinkboonsbourbon.com. Is it not in your town? Go to your mayor, knock on his door, and tell him, hey, you get the Boones and you put it in our town. Everybody will be a lot happier, I'll tell you that much. All right. Sorry for yelling. Let's go to that main desk because we've got some very special guests here as well. We've got Kenny and Chrissy from the Battle Buddy Foundation, as well as Ken. He's here as well.
Oh, I'm here too. I'm here too. And you can't see him yet, but Atlas the Wonder Dog is at my feet. If I even move my chair, I roll over his snoot, and I don't want to do that. This is exciting.
Yes.
There's a dog right here.
There's
There's
a
a
dog
dog
right
over there.
And then if you go to the wide cam there, Ikaika, we can see there's Murphy. Oh,
Murphy.
Murphy is getting a little shy. He does not want to be in camera. You're just seeing Murphy's hindquarters. He is in training. Oh, no, Murphy, sorry, Archer. Sorry, let's flip it. That's my bad. Murphy's like, I'm Murphy. I'm Murphy. And here's the best part.
Boone's Bourbon.
Boone's Bourbon. Ikaika, you can turn on Murphy's mic real quick. Go ahead. So,
Murphy's trying to be so polite.
Yeah.
I'm not showing my hindquarters on this camera.
No. That's my bad, Murphy. I apologize. Murphy, you seem a little nervous. Are you a little nervous?
Out of my element. Perhaps.
Out of your element, okay. Because I was like, do you want a seltzer or a beer? She's like, I would love a bourbon. And I was like, yep, I can tell. Love it. We're here, guys, tonight on the main show. I have been really lucky and fortunate enough to know Kenny and Chrissy from the Battle Buddy Foundation for 3 years now. Yeah. Played in that Battle Buddy Foundation golf outing. Randomly got invited by a buddy the day before, and I was very excited about it. Wore my Stars and Stripes pants, and we've become good buddies, good friends. And this is the yearly tradition of you guys coming out to California, all the way from Cincinnati, is my favorite thing. And so last year when it didn't happen, I was really bummed out. Like it was a total bummer. So for us to get it back and going this year, I'm very excited about it. Ken, this is your first time meeting the whole crew, and
Yeah, in person, and we had such fun on the live stream of Palooza 2.
Yeah.
Was it last Friday or 2 Fridays ago? Time has no meaning this past year and a half. I got to hear their story, hear Kenny's kind of personal testimony with the dogs and the reason for the Battle Buddy Foundation. Moved to tears, quite frankly, and no shame in that. In fact, I was honored to hear your story, both your stories, being involved with this here, but. So now we're behind this full board. This is something that's going to be here with GPA from now to the end of time, the support. So part of tonight as well is to raise funds and awareness for the Battle Buddy Foundation. Any Streamlabs or Super Chats, always we give a large portion of everything we get directly to the charities, the Battle Buddy Foundation, helping combat veterans transition back to civilian life. And there's so much more to that. I can only fit one sentence or two on a card there. And we're going to let them talk about that, too, in case you missed it on a live stream of Palooza. Just happy to be supporting this. And then, God, you all know I love dogs. I sent Grace a picture. She can't be here right now. She's got a client. She's just freaking out.
Yeah.
Atlas is right here.
He's right there. Can we get the dog cam? Let's see where the dog cam is looking right now. Oh, we're missing it. We just see Ken's foot.
That's also a frozen shot.
Oh, that's frozen.
Is it? Okay. Let me see if I can try and fix that.
Yeah. Hey, that's Natasha Martinez's socks.
So Natasha, our friend, that she usually hosts Tuesday with me, she brings her dog Frodo, and is a little, what is he, a Labber? Nope, that's wrong. It's a doodle of some sort. Golden doodle.
It's a golden doodle?
Aussie doodle?
Maybe an Aussie doodle.
It works for us.
Nope, it's a Cavapoo. I knew
totally
there was a poo in there somewhere, Murphy. And I apologize for making you want to show your hindquarters to the audience here. That's on me. I'm a heck of a host, as everybody knows. I do this for a living. And obviously we're very dog friendly, so we have that dog mic going, the dog cam going. The dog cam had been a Rosie cam as well. So
it's a
multi-purpose cam that can kind of float around the office and find the little ones that come in here. So talk about what this maybe this last year has been like for the Battle Buddy Foundation with everything, and or health and everybody's things that's going on. Chrissy, we'll start with you.
The last year has been just like everybody else is, kind of at a standstill. We actually, our event tomorrow, I don't know if we've remembered to tell you, it's actually our first event that we've had since last January.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Our first in-person event, so we're incredibly excited.
Sure.
It's a smaller event, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We're still pushing forward, training dogs and trying to keep the mission going because the needs of these veterans haven't slowed down at all. So we're just trying to keep at it, basically, survive COVID and homeschooling kids and health issues and a whole gamut of things going on.
Yeah.
So
It's been a tough year for a lot of people. Mental health obviously at the forefront of a lot of this. I mean, not physical health one thing, mental health a completely different thing, but in this whole thing, in a pandemic for everybody. I mean, I was talking to a buddy yesterday, and he's like, "You either got divorced, you had a baby. Clearly, you had a baby." And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, it was.
Wait a minute. Those are the only two choices? Because I got engaged, and I got MLB The Show 2021.
That's very true, Ken. That's your baby. No, I mean, the mental health aspect of it all is, there's some people that you haven't talked to in a long time. How are things going? I moved from LA. I couldn't take it anymore, or something like that of that nature.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own kind of story, and especially in what you all do with it, Battle Buddy. It's
Well, as we kind of talked as on our way in, my 2020 was not kind to me, losing my vision.
Unbelievable.
But still trying to push forward with this mission and do really kind of what needs to be done. We talked last time, the VA doesn't cover this. They just passed some new bills and things that'll start to cover it a little bit, kind of in the way the government does things, but not completely helpfully.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to kind of wade through that and see what it's going to look like coming out on the other side with budgets and things. But
what is the process like? I guess with that is, how do we get those kind of bills passed? Like, what kind of politicians do we reach out to? What kind of petitions do we sign? How does that start?
It's a good question. I mean, I've had conversations with a couple different, politicians that we've had in different, areas in different states, different events we go to.
Sure.
And I've always got different ideas, kind of depending on where we've been over the last few years. But it's tough. I've found that the laws that actually get somewhere where we'd have an opportunity to have a say in, so far, have been ones that I've been kind of surprised. It seems like there's been a lot of elementary problems with them, to where I've kind of been like, who's spearheading this?
Right.
Who's spearheading this thing? Because most of the people in the community are looking at it like, what? I hope that doesn't pass. But the problem is when you put, the veteran name on it, and when you talk about a lot of those, issues that are out there and make it sound like it's going to solve it, everybody's like, hey, I don't need to read it. Let's get behind it.
Right.
So, it's kind of the problem. I mean, not to boil it down too far, but the most recent, bill that's out there, as far as, my understanding, for the most part, it ends up funding some training for the veterans to turn around and go get their own rescue dogs and then train those. Oh. And I'm sure there's more to it. That's really, really simplifying it. But I'll tell you, on the surface, it sounds like not a bad idea. You get the veteran, you get him some training, some education, you get him some hope and some purpose going forward, right? You get their dog trained, so they obviously get all the benefit of that. And that's actually an idea I had when I started Battle Buddy. I was like, oh, it's a great idea, right, for all those reasons. The problem is most of the veterans that are in a space where they need a service dog to make it through day to day are not in a space to train a service dog. Right. That was before I really had any idea how difficult it was to train service animals. There's a reason why there's professionals like Murphy over there. She's not always showing her hindquarters, I promise.
Murphy, I will never live that down, and I very much apologize. Your look on your face is like, I'm not Murphy is not the dog. I'm Murphy. Son of a. Good work, Josh. Well done. Just chalk that up, Ken.
It's great.
Put it on the blooper reel.
It's great there. I want to. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
No.
I want to hear, for those who maybe weren't watching the live stream Palooza, maybe go a little bit more into the story. But I think you just transitioned perfectly to Murphy in your wheelhouse. You said you're a little bit out of your wheelhouse. You're not. You're here at a bar drinking. But just the act of training a dog under any circumstance. I can't get my Chihuahua to start stop peeing on a rug. To train a service animal of any kind, that's a long process, yeah?
Absolutely. And in your defense, potty training any Chihuahua is a task in itself. So
Yeah.
there is that.
That's fair.
The pandemic itself made training public access specifically a very abstract experience. Number one, we train our dogs to be able to read facial expressions, and that's a huge part of being able to do emotional detection. And so being out in public and scanning environments, having masks on all the time, entirely eliminated that variable that we work with. And also having puppies that they're at crucial socialization points starting as early as 7 weeks old and then intermittent depending on how their hormones fluctuate and where they're at growth-wise, but getting them out into environments when things were locked down, it did limit us. His very first flight was just yesterday, which is part of why I think he is just a puddle here on the floor. He did fantastic, but that's something that we usually would like to have happen earlier in the process.
So that is Murphy. I'm looking at Murphy right now,
Come on,
Josh.
Ken.
Is that Murphy? No?
You know,
Okay.
one time the guy messes up. That's not true. I mess up all the time.
Archer.
The Wonder Dog, is Buddy. No, Atlas is the Wonder Dog. It was 2015 Service Dog of the Year?
2017. Yeah, Service Dog of the Year. American Humane Hero Dog Award.
All right. Major, huge dog award.
And you know the great thing about Atlas? When he walked in, you could tell he's like, I know I won the award, but I'm not going to hold it over you.
No, he seemed very, like,
I
these
don't know.
guys.
I feel like he holds it over me all the time.
Over you, but for us, he was like,
Okay.
I'm like Barry Sanders, act like you've been here before, we're good.
Yeah.
Fair enough. This is my guy. Let him sit up there. He'll talk.
So
for me.
how did you get into dog training like this?
Oh, goodness. I grew up in a dog environment. My mom was the kennel master for the SPCA of Southwest Michigan, and so I began at 8 years old working with rescue litters, and that transitioned into my first job. I was in rescue.
Southwest?
If we do this, it would be, well, we want this hand, and right here in Kalamazoo.
Okay, Kalamazoo. I know the Michigan trick. I've been to Cedar Rapids. I've been to Detroit. I know. All right, go ahead.
From there, I transitioned into training in private homes as well as teaching classes.
Wow.
The training facility that I was working with at the time partnered with the Battle Buddy Foundation, and after I got involved and really got to know them and what the mission was, I decided I wanted to do that full time.
I love
and
that.
Great.
It's been, I believe, 7 years now, and haven't looked back.
I love that. Were you at the outing 2 years ago?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
what I thought. You look familiar.
She was
So
out there.
I called you Archer.
Out
then.
there with all the puppies.
you mentioned the mission, so Chrissy,
Look,
Kenny,
go to the camp. Can you see him?
Oh,
there he
look
is.
at Archer!
Yes, right.
No,
Oh, God,
that's
Archer.
Atlas.
No, that's
That's Atlas.
Murphy Atlas!
There's Atlas. We're getting all confused.
Hi, Murphy. Oh, wait, that's what.
Look at Atlas.
Look at him. Look at Atlas. Look at me. He's like,
Yeah.
I could bite your face off, but I won't.
Ken, here's the funny part. You and Atlas have the same beard.
That's true.
Look at that. It's like the same coloration of beard.
I love these big dogs.
I know.
Oh, we
Shut-
do. We
You gonna
do.
go say
Look at him. Oh, there's Atlas. Yeah, that's a buddy. I'm telling you, the first time I met Atlas, I was a little starstruck because I was like, am I supposed to be starstruck by a dog? Like, I feel like this is... And then he dove like half his body into a keg bucket full of ice water because it was so hot on the golf course. And I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And now he's looking for Archer. Like, I smell my buddy already.
Murphy mentioned the mission. Now a good time to transition into maybe specifics, Chrissy, Kenny, about the mission of Battle Buddy Foundation. We've talked a little bit about it, but what is it and how does it keep going? That's my favorite thing about the story is that the mission really never ends.
Yes. So for us, the main goal is to assist combat disabled veterans in their transition from service to civilian life. The military will train them for months, if not years at a time, to get ready to go to combat and do this one specific job. But when they come home, there's really not a lot of training on how to transition back to being a husband, a father, a wife, a mom. So that's where we come in with the assistance of the service animals and some of our other programs that we're in the process of working on, some equine therapy in the future in Northern California, and some other programs like that, support systems and support groups and outings and things.
Wait a second. I played golf with the...
With Matt.
With Matt, yes.
I was
We're
I can bring my horse to dinner is what I'm hearing.
right.
That's a great excuse, right?
Ken went horseback riding with a helmet on. Which was
Okay, it was is the rules of the place.
All of our veterans that will be on the horses will be in safety gear.
Okay.
See,
So
there
helmets
you
are
go.
common.
Yes. No, I was just making fun of Ken because it looked like a bicycle helmet from like
That's fair.
97.
It
I was like, where
probably
did you
was.
write?
It
But
probably
we
was.
talked about it. My mother-in-law really wants to get involved with the horse
Yeah.
therapy because she owns a horse ranch. And I'm scared to death of horses. Not scared of them per se. Is like I always think they're gonna bite me. They got those giant teeth, Kenny. They do. Their teeth are huge.
My fear is them kicking me.
Yeah,
So
it's a good fear.
Um,
great
I
fear.
had never really been around them a whole lot.
Okay.
But we had the amazing opportunity to go up to Matt's family's ranch right outside of Yosemite, actually.
Yeah.
From the back deck of their home, you can see parts of the mountains, and it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
They deal mainly in Frisian horses. His mother breeds and trains them.
Okay.
And then they have some rescues. They have Arabians and a whole gamut, mini ponies and dogs and all kinds of stuff on the ranch. They built facilities that they are going to allow our veterans to use. So there's bunkhouses and a saloon and a regulation riding arena and all kinds of amazing amenities.
So cool.
We're going to work off of a therapeutic riding program that Matt's mom actually implemented in Maui. Many years ago that she brought here. So she is trained and certified in animal-assisted therapies.
Okay.
So they have been incredibly generous. Unfortunately, COVID kind of cut our legs out from under us in launching that last year. But, God willing and everything going right and the stars aligning, all of this stuff's going to disappear soon, and we'll be able to move forward with that amazing program also.
I love that. This one, she moves from Maui to Yosemite. What the hell? Why wasn't that in my life? I like Maui.
Yeah.
Who leaves Maui? Not the Hawaiian hunk. Oh wait, he did. He left Maui. Now he's on his way back. Look, doesn't he kind of look like Maui? Go to your cami, Kaika. Doesn't he? He's got a little Maui to him. Yeah, he looks like the Rock in Moana, just a little bit. The Rock with a beard. He's kind of got that Hawaiian hunk vibe to him a little bit. Every time somebody says Yosemite now, I'm like, oh, so Yellowstone. I'm like, that's not the same place.
No.
You idiot. I'm like,
You know,
right.
Matt's
I made the same mistake the whole time I was there. I was like, man,
Where's that thing that's
Yellowstone's great. Where's Yogi? They're like, no. Oh,
Where's
yeah,
the
you said that.
Yeah, where's the Old Faithful?
Does the water come out of Half Dome? Just straight in the air?
I'd like to see that.
We're all
You're
dumb,
onto something.
Chrissy. Yeah,
Well,
we're very dumb.
so Matt's
I have a brain
stepdad.
injury. I don't know about you. I got blown up. So,
Well,
I have
Hold
no
on.
excuses, Kenny. I
Hold
have
on.
no excuses. Yeah.
So Matt's stepfather
just from
is an
Pittsburgh.
amazing veteran himself, and he actually, when he got out of the Army, he became a stunt pilot. So
as one does.
in Long Beach. So he still
Murphy.
flies literally every day. So he took us up in this little tiny plane.
It
let
was
let
awesome.
like
Over
let me
Yosemite.
fly the
No way.
plane.
Or Yellowstone, where we were at.
So we saw El Capitan from
Wow.
a distance of hundreds of yards. If that.
You saw the gift shop up top.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. From this
no
little
about
tiny
that.
plane
no gift shop. There's no
that
gift
Richard. It was just, it's one-on-one, two-seater, but that's something that he's willing to do with our veterans, and just really, that continued support is so important because so many organizations will train an amazing dog and give it to, whether a civilian or a veteran, but then they're like, best of luck, have at it,
Right.
and if you're not getting out and working the animal, it's not really going to do you that long-term good.
Sure.
So our goal is to provide these amazing opportunities to get these veterans and their families back out and utilize the tools that we've been able to provide.
I love it.
And that's kind of the key. We did touch upon the stream. I think it's worth revisiting. Is it the veterans and the families,
Oh,
and that's
absolutely.
where a lot of the stresses and struggles are
Very
felt all
important.
around, right, Kenny?
we figured that out early on.
Yeah.
Earlier than I was able to say that.
But you got there.
I even found it in my own life. I know when I was looking to get an Atlas, I had to sit down and have a conversation with the family about, hey, look, this isn't a normal dog. You're not able to get the treats out and start, teaching him, different things. Even shaking. It's funny. Murphy was doing a little work with Atlas the other day. First thing he did is he's like, boom, with that big, huge paw, wanting to paw her down, and she's like, sorry, but it's one of those key things. You can't treat them that way. And the other thing, I had to have a talk with my now ex back then. I was like, look, I was like, are you on board for me having a dog with me. I was like, there are no more one-on-one romantic dinners, without the dog up under the table,
Right.
And I mean, it turned out to be, at least in my mind, less dramatic than, what I thought it might be.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, we worked real well together, and he just does a great job. So
He's so calm there.
yeah, he's been at
Both
it.
dogs.
He's been
Yeah.
at. We got matched at a year and a half, and he just turned 10. So we've been doing this for
About
over
2.5 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Turn 10.
yeah.
Wow, look at
Atlas birthday.
So it's old school for he's
Yeah.
easy. I was a little nervous, but after COVID, I'm like, man, we haven't been on a plane where we were
Right.
flying once a month or sometimes once a week, depending on
Yeah.
how things were going. But
I have to throw it in there. Atlas turned 10 on the 8th, but Kenny actually turned 40 last weekend.
Oh, and I saw
So
somebody got him a cameo of not
That
Mike.
was-
That was you, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's not Michael Buffer.
Bruce Buffer.
Bruce
Buffer.
Buffer. Sorry.
It's
I
time.
know.
I don't even want to do it. I don't want to get. I don't want to disrespect.
He sent me the cameo and showed it to me. I was like,
Oh.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
I cannot tell you how many times I've heard Bruce Buffer say champion of the world in the
I can't
last
believe
10
you told me
days.
that. Yeah. Like, man, you can pay for this?
So
Oh,
so good.
got him lined up now on the to-do list.
Amanda was looking at some. I remember she told me, she's like, I was going to get you a cameo of Bo Jackson, but it was too expensive. I was like, oh, so I know what I'm worth to you now. I get it. I get
After
it.
a quick trip to the
Quick-
site.
yeah,
Oh, now I know. what
oh,
I'm
now
worth.
it is worth. Yeah. We got a super chat in here from Mormouth Hans. Thank you. Good Puppy Association, playing with my roomie's poodles right now. So. Thank you very much. Again, guys, all the money we raised tonight going to the Battle Buddy Foundation, and a portion of all the proceeds we raised during the Streamapalooza 2 where I waxed my back. How does it look? I'm not going to show Chrissy. That would be an insult. I apologize. Kenny, Chrissy, or Kenny, Ken.
Smooth.
It's smooth.
Yeah.
Spotty,
I like
right?
it.
A little
Yeah.
spotty.
You ever see,
And
like,
Murphy,
aerial
there's a
footage?
little- That's there too. I'm sorry.
Ever see
Murphy.
aerial-
Murphy did not sign on for my body hair. I apologize. But she was like, whoa, wait, what? I'm out of my element. Oh, God.
Murphy, how do you
Made me
train?
show my ass. It's a dog. It's a dog.
Murphy, how do you train humans?
Yeah.
How do you
What?
train humans?
That is always so much harder than
Yeah.
dogs, but it's
Yeah.
crucial.
Yes.
Murphy, what is when you're in the process of training? And one of the things we did learn is like not every dog graduates, right?
Correct.
What's the difference? What's the little extra that Atlas has and Archer has?
There are a couple of layers to that. The biggest part goes back to the foundations of training, and for a dog to be successful as a service dog, especially within a program that we're raising it and then replacing it with someone, the methodology you have to do is based off of trust.
Okay.
So you can't force a dog, you can't scare them into doing these things and then expect them to reliably do those things for another person. And so that means that the dog actually has to enjoy going out in public. They have to enjoy being able to have that level of versatility in their life when it might be a week with hanging out on the couch, because if it's physical health or mental health and that needs to be worked through, then that's something that they're actually equipped to do. This one loves couch time. And then the other side, of course, is being able to
Archer
jump
and
into the day-to-day chaos of life. And so
Yeah.
generally there are 3 different periods within development that we can evaluate where they're at and then decide if they are able to continue or if they would be better suited to be a therapy dog or
Right.
recareered into a different atmosphere, but still helping someone.
A couch tester.
Yeah, no, but that's great to hear because there's the service animal. Let's make sure we say animal because there's a lot of other horses and all those things. But yeah, there's
horses.
there's
That's the
wide
only other.
wide variety of purposes and
It's versatile.
skills,
Yes,
as you say. Yeah, so that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah, all of our dogs kind of get the same base level of training, and then once we decide that they're far enough along in the program that they're going to actually make it as a full service dog with public access with their person, that's when we start individually task training. So our dogs aren't cookie cutter. Each dog is individually trained to meet every individual veteran's needs.
Yeah.
So, there's hundreds of things that they can be taught to do, but, dog A may be taught 1 through 75 and dog B may need 1 through 100.
Right.
Yes.
So everything is individually tailored through our program.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
I mean, specifically, even, I mean, if you think about, matching, so a lot of entities, however it may be, it's next one up, next dog ready to graduate. Okay, who's next on the list? You know, which again never made sense to me. The dogs are so different, and obviously the veterans themselves, their needs or their lifestyles are so different. I mean, we've got Vietnam era veterans, and we've had guys, younger, obviously guys and gals younger than me, for more recent wars. So, you talk about lifestyle difference. I mean, I'd say our one, we had a Navy SEAL, Well, that guy's not sitting at home on the couch, even though literally one of his injuries was being shot about 7 times, and coming back from all that and making it through it. So there's no way he's sitting on the couch now. He's running. Well, matching him up with a dog that's a little more chill, like I am, it probably isn't going to work. His dog's going to, what are you doing? You're going to run me to death. So, I think matching them up appropriate, on multiple levels like that. And, it's one of the good things, I think, with our organization as far as a balance we have. We tell Murphy all the time, look, your number one mission, is the dog's well-being. My aspect of it is making sure things go well for the veterans aspect of it, because, again, when we got started, when I was looking at organizations trying to figure out where I was going to get a service dog from, that was one of the things I saw is it seemed to be a lot of disconnect there. Either the admin side, somebody making decisions decided, hey, this is best for administrative stuff, but had never talked to somebody or doesn't know anybody that needs a service dog, and it would be clear, early on, whether it was the application where they would retain the right to remove the dog at any point, or just any number of things where I'm like, I don't know how well that would work for somebody with anxiety.
Right.
Here's some hope, but we're going to take it in any minute.
Right.
We're going to hold that over your head.
Could you sign this contract letting us know that you're okay with us just raising your anxiety levels? That's good.
Unfortunately for Kenny, he had kind of a not so great experience, but we've been able to take that and make our program, I think, more reasonable for the recipient and a better experience all around, just through his kind of bad experiences.
Well, to be fair, I don't even know that it was bad. I think I had a typical experience of that time.
Which might be bad.
I mean, it wasn't great, but I mean...
it was early on and when all of this kind of became an accepted therapy.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was one of those where we were able to learn a lot of things, ways to try and do things better that's, tailored for the veteran, tailored for the dog, and success for everybody. And I think what even started this off, you were talking about the family a little bit ago.
Yeah.
That's how we decided that was necessary. I had to sit down with mine and talk to them about how, look, this is going to be a big change for everybody. If they're not on board, they might start throwing obstacles in the way. They might doing things that kind of mess you up, and that's not good for anybody. So you want to have them on board. You want to get the full support from the family. You want to understand. You want the family to understand that, hey, ideally here, when the veteran and whether it's the husband or the father or mother, whoever it is. Once they start moving forward, ideally this will be better for everybody, and so, any way we're able to support that. You look like you want to tell me something.
You make a very good point that part of the work with the veterans and the families that we're able to do is knowing that this is a radical lifestyle change, being able to prepare everybody with the right kind of dialogue, if it's being able to handle the public asking you questions about you and your new dog, other ways that spouses or family members are able to support and not compromise the training process.
We've all spent a lot of time making ourselves a part of our veterans' family lives. I know Murphy has put in thousands of miles traveling from state to state to work with our various veterans in the program.
I don't know how we do Ohio, but that has to be worked in there somewhere too.
over holiday weekends and graduations, and our training staff has had the fortunate experience to be there for a lot of kind of life's biggest moments, as cheesy as that sounds. We're able to be there and be a part of it, and it really is an amazing experience. And the family gets that support all the way through all of those things.
I mean, for me, I'm kind of like I'm borderline obsessed with dogs, right? And I love them. And look at Archer. Oh, I'm doing it, guys. I am living the dream. I was sniffing the carpet a little earlier, and it smelled like chicken nuggets, which makes sense because Josh eats them a lot in here. And then I was looking for my buddy Atlas, but he's over there on a big desk. Oh yeah, he's not feeling it. Jen Maddle chimes in with a super chat. Thank you, Jen. Tons of love to all the good people and good pups in the room right now. Again, all the money raised here tonight, Battle Buddy Foundation, TBBF.org. You guys can see down, and you can go to streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa to donate there as well. Go ahead, Ken.
Streamlab coming in from Jersey girl Lori, who I believe also suffered a loss in her family last night.
Yeah, she lost her uncle.
Lost her uncle. So we really appreciate your help even in your time of need, Lori. She's very happy to help us support an amazing organization and our veterans. Thank you. Big one there, Lori. We appreciate that. All of you helping raise funds and awareness for the Battle Buddy Foundation. One thing I was going to ask, and I don't know if we had some Boone's bourbon on the live stream.
Yeah,
to be fair,
a few of them.
if anyone out, if let's say if anyone out there's a veteran, Kenny, listening and is like, this might be right for me and hasn't got the right information, doesn't know how to go about doing it, how do they go through that process?
So what I tell just about anybody whenever I run into anywhere, whether it's online or a situation like this, I think the easiest thing to remember is it's support@tbbf.org is our email. If they send us an email, any kind of question about, service dogs, how they get one, where do they start, we've got kind of a beginner informational packet that we, get back to them with, because, that's the biggest thing. There's a lot of, I hate to say it, but misinformation out there. There's a lot of for-profit companies that'll find out you're looking to rent, and they'll say, "Oh, you don't want to pay rent for your dog? Here, let's register him as this." And they had to change the law. They had to amend the laws as far as like the ADA documents that were defining service animals. They had to put something in there, a little addendum that's like, listen, those online registries are scams. They mean nothing.
Wow, yeah.
It's the training and the behavior of the dog that makes it that and actually performing that for a legitimately disabled person. The combination of those things make the animal a service dog. No certification or registration, I don't really know how I got on that, but
No, valuable information.
yeah.
No,
part of it.
It was how do people, if you are a family member that's a veteran or a friend that's a veteran, anybody that that may know, reach out, because I think the goal of the Battle Buddy Foundation, and I could be speaking out of turn here, but like make this global, make it a, like the biggest kind of operation in the world. Obviously, the bigger, and because you guys do such an amazing job, you have such an amazing success rate, and all that you all do is very important. So in order to take this away from just the hand and Ohio and Los Angeles and wherever we are is put it all over, because there are a lot of organizations that are doing it, but there's a lot of organizations that could all come together to make sure that they're all working towards the same goal in a certain manner, so that it's not just because there's some bad ones and there's some good ones. It would be amazing if they were all very good ones.
Well, and to add to what Kenny was saying,
I'm Ken. My name's Ken.
Kenny.
Oh, Kenny.
I can't see him, but I know he's over there somewhere. He
is a little svelte, Chrissy. I understand.
We are still, we're small. COVID kind of killed our budget last year. We're putting out as many dogs as we can, but so if someone emails us and we're not able to help them directly, we are more than happy to connect them with whatever resources we can. For us, it's not a competition. It's not, it's not a numbers game for us. We're not trying to put out all of our dogs, whether they're shitty dogs or not. So if there's an organization that we know is a decent organization that may have a few dogs up and ready to be paired, but we're more than happy to refer someone to those other entities as well, because this is a service that kind of has an expiration date. If these people don't get the help that they need, you don't know what situation you're leaving someone in.
Right.
So however we can help, we try to.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something we put together early on. Just knowing that even if we got a $10 million infusion tomorrow or $100 million infusion tomorrow, it would, first of all, $100 million, great. I'm not saying, but it would take some time to get everything even set up, and then hope you could serve people, the way they need to be and supported properly across the country. So from the beginning, we knew, okay, we're going to need to be able to answer this question for someone that gets a hold of me on some part of the country that I don't have connections, So, the kind of information that we give them is essentially enough that if you're coming in with no info, or depending on where you land on that scale, you should be able to, by the end of the email response, you should have a fair idea of at least where to go or what questions ask next. So again, a lot of this was born out of my experience. I had no idea what to do. I almost signed up for one of those scam registries. Like, I guess better get him registered.
Right.
I had his Facebook page. People squared me away right away. No, don't do that.
Right.
But
Well, and even to speak, Kenny started to talk about the dollar amount. I don't think we touched on that last time we talked, but for us as an entity, it costs us about $25,000 for the first year to year and a half of training, and we provide lifetime support for the working life of the dog. So, depending on how much training, how long we have the dogs, retraining, support groups, all of that, we estimate that our total cost for the working life of a dog is about $65,000 to $85,000.
Wow.
And that's
Per dog.
per veteran. That
veteran,
doesn't include a lot of the travel. We have amazing events like tomorrow's golf tournament where people have generously donated, private jet trips and various things that they can contribute to help keep those costs down for us. But the costs are really, really high. That's why a lot of veterans can't do it on their own. So, taking that into account, even if we got $100 million tomorrow, when you break it down, it really wouldn't, go as far as one might think.
Yeah.
Right.
It's, I mean, go ahead.
There is
Murphy.
the other side that I did want to touch on, and it is that if someone's out there seriously believes that they want a service dog, it can be an incredibly romantic notion.
Okay.
That I strongly recommend doing the research, reading what's involved. We have veterans and families who contact us who went and picked up a dog. They didn't check out the background or what was going on, and then they have a mess that essentially is collapsing in on their mental health versus helping. And just how drastic of a lifestyle change it truly is to bring. This is an excellent therapy tool, generally paired with other therapy forms as well. And those are resources that we are, when discussing the email side of things and providing, is making sure that everybody understands what's involved with it, and then if there is something that they're better suited for, that they're able to pursue that as well.
Yeah. Number one piece of advice, and I think Murphy would echo this, is don't just go out and get a dog.
Please,
It-
please,
you can't just go pick up a random dog at the shelter, the pet store, a breeder, and
Right.
expect it to be a service animal. So that, number one is don't just go out and get a dog and think it's going to work, because you could be met with disappointment.
I mean, I'll even chime in real quick on that. It's a conversation I've had 2 or 3 times in the last week. But most of the organizations out there that are long established, some of the guide dog organizations and others, they've got roughly a 60% washout rate. So 6 out of 10 dogs that they hand pick from the litter and say, hey, this one is displaying the traits we need, the characteristics. Let's go ahead and go with that. 6 out of 10 of them won't make it. So you've even got to figure that into the cost. Out of 10 dogs, you're only going to end up with very likely 4, and that's like I said, hand picking them, and great lineage, things like that. So.
Somebody in chat earlier mentioned, they said, I love that the dogs that don't make it still serve a purpose. Like, yeah, they don't get thrown to the mill.
Absolutely.
No, that's actually so it kind of turns back into what they were saying just a few minutes ago. The ladies about so some of the dogs that may not be bomb-proof enough to go out and be 100% wherever that veteran takes them, whether it's a graduation or whether it's a parade with banging stuff, whatever, fireworks show, whatever. If they can't make that, for us, we're not going to shove the dog through, and call it a service dog and pretend it's a win, because why? It's going to put the veteran and their family in a worse place. Obviously, that's the opposite of what we want. So, but if we can re-career that dog and put them in a place where, we've had different veterans get a hold of us that had, different needs. I mean, there's the firefighter where the dog spends all his time in the firehouse and has become a part of that team now. But he doesn't need a dog in the restaurant necessarily with him. He needed some of the other things. Right. There's plenty of different variations, where we've been able to do that. And it's been a wonderful match. The dog's happy, the veteran and their family actually got what they needed, not more than what they needed, an overcommitment. Because you don't want that either.
Right.
They go through all that, and there's a lot of commitment from us and donors and supporters. So there's even a little pressure on those guys and their families to succeed. It honestly turns out to be a win-win.
Well, there's a lot to this, and it sounds like I'm making a joke, but it's like you don't want to go to the pet store and say I want a bunny for Christmas, and then 2 weeks later you're like, damn it, I got a bunny.
Right.
Like this, you got to get it right, and a lot of, like you said, misinformation, a lot of lack of information, a lot of we as the society are really now probably a long way to go, but still so more open to the needs of veterans after their time serving has come to a close. There's a lot there that you guys are also trying to do other than train dogs.
Absolutely. A lot of education, things like that.
And to speak to what both Kenny and Murphy have said, a service dog, people I don't think fully understand what a commitment it is.
Right.
I've been very fortunate to meet with the guide dogs program just north of Los Angeles for my own needs.
Oh, wow.
And the first thing everyone has asked me, knowing, I've worked in the service dog industry for the last 7 years, when are you getting a dog of your own? Quite honestly, I don't think I'm going to.
Wow.
A CNI dog, a guide dog, what have you, may be of assistance at times, but I know what goes into it. I know the follow-up work that it requires. I know the commitment, and I don't know that I live a lifestyle that would be conducive to that. So, these are things that people really need to think through and take into consideration before trying to go through the long, expensive process of getting a service animal.
Interesting. Now, for Murphy, for you, training,
Yes.
how hard is it to not become like very attached to certain dogs, because that's I mean, for me at least. I mean, I get attached to a dog that walks down the street.
I'm going to be writing a poem to Atlas and Archer.
Yeah, they're haikus, but they're good. Very good.
There are a couple of parts to that. First of all, I was set up for success from a young age, going back to growing up in rescue. It was from childhood, taking a dog, conditioning them and getting them to a certain point in their life, sending them off into their forever situation. There is an added advantage here
So you
with
must
this
be
job.
a thrill to date. I'm kidding. Murphy, I'm kidding. That was a total joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, hey, listen.
Oh my goodness.
It's a joke. Bourbon. Bourbon. Do you guys want to make an opportune/inopportune joke at just the right time? Grab yourself a Boone's. That's on me. Hey, that's my bad. All right. No. It's homegrown bourbon. It's number 6 in the world, Murphy. It makes you say stupid stuff.
Cheers. That being the case, though, it's wonderful with these guys because, I mean, part of it being the program director, yes, but after they are in their homes, I'm still working with them. I'm able to actually see a part of myself in them and a part of the whole community that goes into making these dogs who they are. Okay. So I'm absolutely going to miss him, but I'm also going to be able to see where all of that work is turning into something so much bigger.
Right.
These dogs, when they are kind of like teenage baby brats through the majority of the training process. And there is a distinct moment that happens when we start the pairing process where they are working with their veterans and all of a sudden the physiology of the dog changes and I get this look of recognition from them that they're like, oh, you weren't just being a jerk the whole time. Like, these things, like, I'm doing a thing for this person, like, they see the confidence that starts resonating from their human, and it all makes it worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I was...
You could take a big swig of that drink and then toss the rest on his head if you need that.
Thanks, Ken.
That could be strike 3.
Yeah. We're waiting on... What was strike 2? Strike 1 was making him show your hind quarter. It's my bad. Strike 2 was that one. What are we waiting on? Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, okay. All righty. Jen Maddle says
Murphy
Josh
and
firing.
Archer, everybody.
Archer's about to stand up and be like, what did you just say to me?
I know. Hey, you. Yeah, squishy boy.
Oh, there's the buddy.
Look at that face.
Flat rude.
Yeah, it's still there. It's
Oh.
still there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you. What are you doing?
What a
That's always
sweet boy.
important.
Yeah. Is the hardest part like when people see the dog coming up and be like, you can't pet the dog because
The
that one
Joshes
says
of
do
the
not
world?
pet. Yeah, the Joshes of the world.
I don't think it's hard for Murphy.
Nope.
No, that's ingrained. I mean, you got to think.
No,
Yeah.
But that is something that we have about 2 pages full of prepared dialogue for our veterans to be able to politely handle that because these are individuals, our Vietnam era veterans especially, that when someone just comes up to them and wants to ask them a very abrupt, personal, not polite question, having the tact to be able to responsibly delegate yourself and also not have to share a bunch of information, that's nobody's business.
Right.
So, yeah.
And trying to convince some of them not to just punch people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice watching that process as they become more comfortable working with the public. The dog puts that pressure on them in a healthy means, especially with them having already prepared lines and knowing what to do, that they feel more comfortable. And all of a sudden, they're getting to share people being excited about what they have going on with them, but in a respectful manner.
There are improv comics and there are scripted comics. Clearly, I should be a scripted one because tonight I think Murphy over here wants to punch me in the face. That's how this goes.
What do they just talk about from an outside looking in and you hear service animals for veterans and here we are in 2021. I think the last decade is the 1990s, but turns out it's not. You talk about Vietnam veterans and veterans of different eras. Do they understand the value of this coming in? Is this something new? Because I got my uncle's in Vietnam, and I know he probably was like, I just took a stiff drink and walked it off, and didn't know the best ways to handle some of the stuff.
So that's likely what you're saying about your uncle. That's kind of the common, probably more common than not story for that generation, and part of it was because obviously of how terribly they were treated.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's changed is essentially that generation's coming into retirement, right? And not everybody, obviously, but for the most part, you had guys and gals that put their head down, just went back to life, and either worked their asses off at the end of the week, and then it was a little bit easier to drink yourself to sleep, or guys that didn't do so well and got into the VA, mental health help, or just aren't here with us anymore. And obviously, Agent Orange ate up a lot of them as well, and still is. But between then and now, that generation is the reason why I'm here right now talking to you guys. It's the reason why I was able to stand up and say, hey, yeah, I've got post-traumatic stress, yeah, I've got traumatic brain injury, and let's figure this out and move forward. That's the only reason that we're even able to do this. Because they gave us that platform. They were the ones that stood up decades later and said, hey, you know what, not again. I remember when I got home from Iraq in 2003, those are the guys that you saw at the parades. It was the old vets that were like, no, we're not letting you guys come back like we did. But I mean, it really changed everything to where I want to say 03, 04, 05, there was a lot more conversation about, hey, what about these troops coming home? What are they going to be dealing with? I mean, that opened it up a lot to where I'm certain in the last decade, there's so much more awareness about, the veteran suicide rate. Sadly, I think we mentioned it last time, we were here with you guys. But the suicide rate being an average of 22 veterans a day since about 2001, which is incredible. You're talking, tens of thousands, as an infantry Marine, not a math Marine, so forgive me. I'd have done that quicker.
Is there math Marine?
Probably.
I was a radio DJ. I know that. You want to know the Gin Blossom second single? That's all I can tell you. You're doing great, Kenny. You're doing great.
I haven't had my crayons today, so I'm a little slow. But
if I could piggyback on that, though, not having a military background personally, one of the most moving experiences while I've been out doing public access work with them has been the Vietnam era veterans who have come up to me and said how happy they are to see something like this in action because they know how much it would have made a difference for them. And that means a lot.
Well, and
that's powerful stuff.
you say would have, but for us, I mean, it's never too late.
Yes.
We
Absolutely.
have one veteran. He's 77 now.
I love Doc. I love
He
Doc. He's awesome.
is one of the sweetest.
What's his name?
Doc.
Well,
Doc?
his nickname,
Well,
Doc. He was
Doc.
an
call him
army medic.
Army medic.
2 Purple Hearts.
I need him to have that nickname.
Yeah.
That's the right nickname.
Yeah.
Doc.
So he, it's in his story and putting his story out there. We've actually been contacted by quite a few other Vietnam era veterans who, either thought it was too late to get this kind of help, or they were too far gone, or whatever the situation may be. Of that, they say 22 a day. It grossly underreported. The most recent accepted pre-COVID VA study said something more like, what was it, Kenny, like 32 or 36 a day?
I think it was close to like 40 or something. But I mean, there's a lot of argument. But it's at least 22, if not double that.
Of that number, and again,
One's too many.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll take anything after that.
But of that number, the statistic is right around 67% of them are Vietnam era veterans committing suicide.
Yes.
Right.
So, Kenny often says, if not us, then who? Because at this point, who's going to take care of these veterans? And it becomes generational.
Yeah.
And then, we run into the Desert Storm era veterans and now our generation. And if we don't help those older than us, those younger than us and our age aren't going to get the appropriate help either.
Well, to speak to that, actually, the reality is after, post 9/11, a lot of the organizations out there, that's all they served. When they started creating these new, these new organizations, it was only post 9/11. So Vietnam and, Desert Storm, everybody else got left out. Wow. And so that was a conversation we had at the very beginning, with some of the board members and some of the other founders, and looked at them like, why would we, how would we leave anybody out?
Right.
How can you say, no, just these guys? Like,
Your
that doesn't
service
make any
wasn't
sense
good
at
enough
all.
because you're too old.
So, that's,
Right.
I mean, there's even, they're obviously some by the book people, and they're like, well, if they've got a dishonorable discharge, you wouldn't even consider that, right? Well, of course not, because unfortunately, Vietnam era, they don't even think the DSM manual even recognized post-traumatic stress disorder until the 80s. Wow. So all the guys in Vietnam, guys and gals in Vietnam that had post-traumatic stress were getting diagnosed with other things, and were getting, kicked out or getting dishonorables for behavior issues, or other things that were today they would be treated, likely be treated, for those things. So it's one of those where we even look at the individual, and look at the situation. So
my grandparents who were in World War II, it was just shell shock.
Yep. Yep.
It was just my grandpa had bad nightmares.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't like, he wasn't in the Battle of Bulge for 100 days in a row. You know what I mean? And it's you talk to like a lot of the soldiers in World War I, which is a totally forgotten war now because we don't. But because they were stuck in trenches, and that movie 1917 brought that whole thing up is that unfortunately movies like Saving Private Ryan and movies like 1917 bring to the forefront what was actually gone through instead of actually listening to the soldiers that went through it. Because like my grandpa Macuga, my dad's dad, probably just came home and went straight to work, and nobody said anything. Nobody asked him about it. No, he was like, "Oh, we don't talk about it." Well, you should. Well, there should be some help there.
Yeah, and even the term PTSD, which is a small fraction of probably the bigger picture, that's something I don't feel I even really heard until 10, 15 years ago, just in general,
absolutely.
walking
Right.
around.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, mind you, it wasn't even in the DSM manual until
Right.
the 80s. So
Right.
it was just getting recognized. And obviously, 01, I mean, well,
Yeah, I mean, it just
Afghanistan, Iraq.
becomes.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have a
Yeah.
major war. I mean, first-person Gulf War, but there wasn't like a ton of
I
that.
yeah, it was a 100-hour ground war.
Right,
so
exactly.
I
yeah,
think one of
less
the most
exposure.
heartbreaking applications that we've seen, most of them kind of come across my desk. We go through, vet it, make sure that they have all of the required stuff, and then we require that they give us a personal statement talking about what they hope a service dog would do for them, what they want to get out of our program, just a little extra before we, do a phone interview.
Sure.
It was a Vietnam era veteran who was talking about he had just gotten his diagnosis. This was a couple years ago, so it was probably 2016 or 17. Had served in 67, 68, had just gotten his PTSD diagnosis. He had been through 3 wives, had 4 kids that he didn't know any of them, had grandkids that he had never met, didn't know their names. He had his entire life just been told that he was basically a jerk and crazy and nobody wanted to be around him, and all he wanted to get out of our program was validation, one, that he wasn't crazy, and 2, maybe to be able to have one of his kids contact him to start to build a relationship. That man waited 30 plus years for a diagnosis that just told him he wasn't crazy and he was okay to be around normal people. And I mean, all he wants is a family life. And, we're able to work with these men and women and give them that. So, I mean, that's really what we're here to do.
And that story, Chrissy, came across your desk. That came across your desk. Yeah, that's powerful.
Just a normal, checking the mail. And that was an application. I'm sitting there I was looking at Kenny that day, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this job anymore. Like, there's so much of this, and the need is so big. But, every little bit that we can make a dent in makes such a difference for so many families.
You do what you do, that's sometimes the best thing. You make the influence and the change around you, which is part of it. And I want to reset a little bit here on that story too. A few minutes left in the show here tonight, but we are raising funds and awareness for the Battle Buddy Foundation. If you want to hit that wonderful graphic, what is this dog on here that I grabbed one of your dogs? Which one is this, Kenny?
Delta.
I grabbed it because it's got a little bit of that blue Murrow, which is my Chihuahua back there's
beautiful.
all blue Murrow. So
what a great looking dog.
He's a Beauceron.
Yeah.
Beauceron?
They call him French Shepherd. So I believe it's the parent breed for the Rottweiler and Doberman, correct?
Yeah, wow.
Or am I wrong, Murph? You would
It's
know.
Go ahead, Murphy.
Murphy, don't botch this. Better get this right.
I believe it is
Strike.
the Rottweiler, the Dane. Oh, trainer Eric might be very upset if I get this wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to say the Shepherd, but
You can just
it's
say I'm right.
Personal Protection Livestock Guardian.
sorry.
It's an ancient breed. Honestly, we were fortunate to have a few come through the program that were out of the norm for that breed and were very apt candidates to go through the program because
great.
it is a very unique animal with some high power needs.
Delta is now living his best life in Alaska
Yes.
with his brother.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. Delta was one of those that wouldn't have made it as that absolute bomb-proof service dog, but we looked at personality and we looked at that veteran applicant that was out there in Alaska, and there's even some support from the actual
Breeder.
donor. Oh yeah, the breeder.
Yeah.
So they're going to have direct connection. So that was how we were able to do it. Is them
amazing.
still having that connection and that support. So
Fantastic.
worked out wonderfully.
Amazing, but that's what we're doing
Beautiful
here,
pup.
raising funds, raising awareness. Your Streamlabs, your super chats going this. We got a Streamlab from Elle Redmond, Lucy Redmond. She's just so generous. Said the dogs with amazing hearts and humans with amazing perseverance. We really appreciate that support there. And by the way, Battle Buddy Foundation, like I said up top, we are GPA will be forever associated with them. That we can guarantee you. This has been moving every time. Chrissy, I don't know what it's about. You just keep making me cry with these stories.
We cry a lot around here.
But it's
So
important.
do I. What the?
And it's
Yeah.
important to do this work here, and Archer is just out, and I love it. Sorry, I'm not distracted. I love dog snoots. They're just because go to that Archer camp. This is what Archer's doing now. He's like,
I can't get it.
he's like, oh, his face is. He's like meat, pizza, running, meat, pizza, running to pizza.
Here he
Running
goes.
there.
There goes the camera. Oh, yeah, there it is. Look
Just
at
the
that
best.
buddy.
Anyway, so that's part of what we're doing here.
And we've got, you've got Atlas, you've got Archer. How many dogs are currently in training?
Great question. There are.
Actively in training with trainers right now, there are 5.
Okay.
And then we've got a couple that the trainers still do ongoing training
like
with.
that transition
Gotcha,
phase.
gotcha. Man.
Now, when they graduate,
there
who
like a
gives
cap and
the
gown?
commencement speech?
Yeah.
Because I got one about this is water that I'll bring. Someone else did it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Oh, man. I would
does
love
that-
to give a commencement speech at a dog graduation. That's a dream.
You
For
are-
extra
You know
what?
students.
Be careful, you're
Let's
hired.
work that out.
Oh,
You're
man.
hired.
Yes.
I will give you
Let's
a
work it
date
out.
to put on your calendar.
Boom.
Just
Put it
5
out
dogs
there.
staring at you.
Yeah.
I forget the
Dream
humans that are helping.
scenario.
But 5 dogs. Just
Yes.
Like,
This was like 3 weeks ago. We're driving, and I grew up with small dogs, little Shih Tzus, right? Because my hypoallergenic, my mom couldn't. We couldn't have big dogs. My mother-in-law has Great Danes and Great Pyrenees, all that kind of stuff. I don't discriminate. Any kind of dog that likes me or that whatever, I will. So we're driving, and I see a woman walking with 2 little Shih Tzus, right? And I
buddy.
get into the turning lane. I'm turning left, and Amanda goes, "Where are we going?" And I was like, "Do you see what's over there?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's 2 Shih Tzus. So I pulled the car over, put on the 4-ways, and I walked up. I was like, "Hi, I was wondering if I could pet your dogs." And she was like, "Did you just pull your car over? Pet my dogs?" Like, I did. I have a problem. And then anytime we're going somewhere, like Amanda might be saying something serious to me or something be talking serious, and I'll be like, "Dog." It's a French bulldog, or like, oh my God! We just moved into a new place, and my neighbors across the street have 2 Great Danes, and I just poured open the door. I was like, "You got Great Danes!" And the guy was like, "Oh God!" I was like, "I'm really sorry. I really like Great Danes. I think they're such a sweet dog." I was like, "Can I pet them?" I was like, "Yeah, come on over." I mean, yeah, I'm just a little
I
obsessed.
had someone do that
Yeah.
to one of our program dogs and their trainer just a few weeks ago. They drove into their driveway to knock on their front door because they were so excited. They recognized the breed and they really wanted to know more about what was going on.
Yeah, it happens.
You meet passionate people.
Really happens.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see one. I'm like, "Oh, is that a Malamute?" Yeah. I was like, "I love those. They're any breed, really." I'm just like,
Yeah.
For
Mr.
100%.
McClunky with a Streamlab. Cheers to all the dogs you take care of, to all the vets and heroes who lost in service to this country, and honored this past weekend. Thank you for your good work. That's something close to our heart as well, and the continuing stories, and how we can help veterans after they go serve our country, because I think it keeps going. It keeps going. Your presence here is
Pay it forward.
is important. Yeah, pay it forward indeed.
Couple super chats too. Kingsport Cow says, "Here's a little something for the cause. Murphy's an amazing lady. This has been a fun and informing episode. Josh, calm down, buddy. Atlas looks cool." David Taylor also said, "Let Josh give a speech to dogs." Yes, that's a dream. That is a dream scenario. I was like, I definitely wasn't valedictorian in my high school, but I went up to like the principal. I was like, "What's the chance I can like talk to everybody?" And he was like, "You're already class clown. I don't know what else you want." I was like, "I know that the valedictorians are going to give like okay speech and be like, thanks everybody. I studied really hard." What about like number 100 out of 300 in the class? What about him? What about the guy that just wants to make sure everybody had a good time at graduation? It's 104 degrees out here. We could use some laughter. It didn't go over well, Chrissy. I'll tell you that much. It did not go over
Well,
well.
we will give you a call when we're ready.
Woo!
That's
I love
that's
it.
what I need.
Will Murphy be there? Because third strike might be in.
So it might depend on your behavior between now and then.
You know, Murphy's going to be there all day tomorrow, and so
That's
are
right.
you. So
Yeah. You get to meet my baby and my wife and everything.
Sweet.
Yes.
Murphy, I don't. Archer and Atlas are above this, but how much time and energy would it take to train, like say a Chihuahua, to golf, hit that golf net over there with the ball? Just asking.
How old's the Chihuahua?
14, and it's pretty stubborn.
And by stubborn, he will literally rip
does it
your
like
face
food?
off. Yeah.
It loves food unless I serve it.
Well, I'm assuming you're the trainer here, correct?
I'm just trying to be the stepdad that it accepts.
He's bit at me, around me multiple times. Like, listen, all dogs love me. I'm not Baxter. Baxter.
I'm not. I never joke, but I think my Baxter needs an Atlas.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It is a thing.
It's
See?
a thing. It's
Yeah.
a thing.
Well, Mark Riley, our buddy, who's the
He's in
third
chat,
member
yeah.
of our triumvirate in here, his mom just had surgery yesterday. She's doing fine. He couldn't make the show tonight, but said of all the shows in all the weeks, I missed the Battle Buddies and the Doggos. Sorry, Mark. Yeah, they're both amazing. They're in here. They're just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
And Atlas is over there just being Atlas.
He's trying to mean mug Archer.
He's-
It's like, oh, you got
I
my
am
camera
Atlas
time.
the
huh?
Wonder
and
Dog.
Archer just is like, yeah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
dreaming about chicken wings.
Exactly.
He's big chillin'.
You know what I never asked, and last story, and then we can all get out of here. But how was Atlas? Did he win and was nominated for Service Dog of the Year? Because I mean,
Good
How?
question.
yeah,
You said how?
Yeah, what was?
Like,
What was the process?
Yeah, what's the
So
process?
it's so part of it's voting.
Okay.
I think the first part's voting. They opened it up for a couple months. It was the American Humane Hero Dog Awards.
Okay.
So they filmed it out where they do the Emmys
Okay.
and all that. It was on
Pet
Ooh.
Channel,
Which
Discovery,
channel?
Disney Plus.
Hallmark.
Hallmark Channel.
Hallmark.
Yeah,
Got
I
it,
feel
got it,
bad
got it,
taking
got
so
it,
long to
got it.
remember that
Yeah.
brain injury part
Yeah.
again. So yeah, it was Hallmark Channel, but first part's voting. Second part is voting again, and then a judges panel.
Got
so I think they decide, the last little part. But yeah,
He's a charming
2017. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He was on a bunch of news stations, and then back home there was a bunch of interviews because someone from back home was on the news.
Oh, there you
so
go.
yeah, it was a little
That's
reciprocal
amazing.
there. It was pretty awesome.
I mean, we got. I think every year the Battle Buddy Foundation's got to get a dog at least into the running. We got to. Come on.
Take it over.
Yeah,
I like that. I like
it's-
it.
Listen, we got to get some record. Listen, if I'm going to give a speech at a dog graduation, I mean, Atlas Dog of the Year at 2018, 2019, it's like the Olympics. Like each year, that's the
We
goal.
just need to get you into the Hero Dog Awards. That's what it is.
That's what it
That's
is.
what it is.
That's what it is.
Man, it's like Hallmark Channel. It's like me and Brooke Burke. That's like it on that damn channel.
Matt the Beard Man. You see that one, Josh?
I did. We got a quick one from Stacy and Brooks too. Stacy, thank you. Awesome episode for the dogs and the vets and the battle buddies. Such a great and important cause. Thank you, Stacy. And from Matt the Beard Man, who's training for a marathon. No big deal. He's also an amazing track coach. Such an amazing episode. Here's something for the cause. Keep up the fantastic work, Matt. Thank you so very much. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. We got some housekeeping to take care of shortly, but we're getting out of here. I did mention some at the end, so don't let me go about the premiere on Friday night I'm part of, but we're not done supporting the fine folks at Battle Buddy Foundation. We did some more, you out there, you're the good people, did some great work tonight with some funds, but we need to keep getting the awareness out here.
Yes.
So
So
we'll hear more.
TBBF.org. Make sure you hit that. Go to the website. Tomorrow morning, obviously, all the funds raised until Friday at Joshberty will go. A portion of all proceeds will go to the Battle Buddy Foundation. Since Streamapalooza 2, where I showed Murphy my chest, which was awkward. And
was that the third? That might have been the third.
that was the third. So
have a
right,
point.
that's right. There we go.
That might have been a foul tip, maybe.
Yeah.
You're like, and the ump was like, hey.
You're like, hey Murphy, come. They're gonna have a great time. Murphy's like, I'm never going. So we've got the positivity report tomorrow with Alessandra Torresani, and Amanda's coming in as well with Rosie, and then we're going to go to the Battle Buddy Foundation golf tournament tomorrow. We'll do some live streaming as well, so you guys can do that. And then Internet for Old People tomorrow.
Internet for
Thursday.
Old People, actor Kai Thatch, video game sound designer, developer Tony Porter, who I went to high school with, is going to be on the show. He does some great work out in Florida, actually, some games you know about. So we're going to have some fun with nostalgia there.
There you go. And then Positivity Report on Friday with Tyler Boone, maker of Boone's Bourbon, the official sponsor of the Good People Association. Do you love dogs? Of course you do. Do you love bourbon? Mm-hmm. So what you're going to do is the first dog you see today, next dog you see today, you're going to go out and be like, hey, listen, I want to pet you, but I want to get permission first, okay? Then you pet him, and you'd be like, Boone's Bourbon. It brings all dogs together and humans petting them awkwardly in public places. Do you see the trainer? Don't talk to the trainer awkwardly. That's what Boone's Bourbon also does. Boone's Bourbon. It makes awkward ads by idiots behind a desk. All right.
And for me, I did want to let there's a short film I was in by our friend of the show, Robert Butler III, and Kate Hughesby. It's called Timestamp. Finally coming out Friday, June 4th, 7 p.m. Pacific is a live stream and a Q&A. After that's tomorrow. No, Friday night. I don't know what day. Monday, really.
I know.
That day off.
When the week doesn't start on a Monday, everything is thrown off. I'm not complaining about it because I like a short week.
Yeah.
But now I'm all backwards because Friday was supposed to be our 100th episode, and guess what, Ken? It's our 99th.
It's 99.
So now we got to celebrate 100 on a Monday, Morgan. Nobody likes Mondays. I'm going to have to drink on a Monday? I guess that's
And I
fine.
don't like Mondays. You get access to this premiere by becoming a Patreon supporter of First Cut, which is Robert Butler III, Andres Cabrera, Sabrina Ramirez's channel. Over there, GPA members might have something coming for you as well. Really proud of the work. Really love working with Robert Butler III, so we wanted to highlight that as well.
I want to give a quick name here. It says Josh only wants to give speeches to winners. No, and that's not what I meant. Okay, I will give speeches to any dogs. I don't care. I'll give a speech to Baxter. Okay.
Baxter needs.
Here's what I think we just came up with a small business idea for me. It's called motivational dog speaking, and what I do is I just go around to like doggy daycares, all this kind of places, like, get your dogs together. I'm here for the speeches. And I give a speech to all the dogs, and I think that they would all appreciate that. Morgan? What? I just called you Morgan. Murphy? Good Lord.
I'm pretty sure that'll strike 3.
I'm out.
Joey, the big super chat. Joey Petros, thank you for the super chat. He says, have an awesome week. Josh needs one. He's sending love.
Tell you what. Ken?
Rainy days and Mondays.
Madeline over here, she's just the best. Can't wait to see her tomorrow.
Maggie, Hayden Archer.
Look Ikaika, go to your camera. Even he's like, good Lord, man. Whoops a daisy. And you know what, Ikaika, you had all day to pick your background, and you didn't even pick dogs back there. You didn't even pick the battle buddy or anything like that. You didn't pick dogs. You didn't even pick Murphy's hometown of Kalamazoo, Michigan. I got it.
The focus is not on me; it's on the dog.
Yeah.
They're the real heroes.
No, they're real.
Oh,
man. Every Wednesday, we're here 4 p.m. Pacific on the Good People Association doing fun stuff like this, raising awareness and trying to spread the good word. Kenny Bass, Chrissy Faulkner, thank you both for being here.
Thank
You're
you
the
for
best.
having us.
It's an
our
honor.
honor.
Murphy,
Our
I don't know
honor.
your last name, and I don't think you're going to tell me.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Thank you also for being here. Atlas and Archer, you beauties.
Woof,
Thanks
woof.
for being here.
Certainly.
Thank you all for all your generous donations. Again, you can go to the GPA.fund, join the Bucket Club. A portion of all proceeds raised on all shows go to charities, and we're donating to the Battle Buddy until this Friday after Josh Buddy, and on Josh Buddy this week, Ken, Elliot Dewberry, and Ricky Haberg.
Ooh,
so a
yeah.
fun one. Special thanks always to Boone's Bourbon for sponsoring the programs. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the tournament.
Can't wait.
It's such an amazing cause, and it's doing very, very, very important things. Literally saving lives. There's very few charities that you can say like 100% have a 100% success rate of saving lives of people. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and wherever you are, we love you very much. It's way easier to love than hate. Find the good. See you tomorrow.